Hello challengers, and welcome to one of my favorite workouts, the Charlie Tree Strength Workout. It is a simple, just like Charlie Brown's Christmas tree, it's a simple workout. You only need to remember 4 exercises, but don't think that it's simple in terms of effort, because it can be a fantastic newbie's strength workout. If you're new to strength training, it can also challenge the heck out of you if you're already doing strength training and you're looking for a challenge. There's 4 exercises. There's the squat, which uses both legs, the lunge, which focuses on a single leg, and then we do a push and pull for the upper body, push up, and then row for the upper body. So between the 4 exercises, it's a total body workout and super easy to do anywhere, whether you're traveling for the holidays or you're at home without a gym, or you're at a gym. You can do it anywhere, which is one of the reasons why I love this. And it's kind of fun because it's a ladder sequence. So rather than doing the same number of repetitions each exercise, we mix that up and we progress it from the top of the tree, which is more repetitions, to the bottom of the Charlie tree, which is fewer repetitions. So back to back, you're doing squats and push-ups together, then you follow with lunges and rows. Squats and push-ups, lunges and rows. So you start with the most repetitions at the top of the tree, and then you work your way down through the sets of exercises with fewer and fewer repetitions. So that's the way that most people start it. They start from the top of the Charlie tree and they work their way down, but there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Again, you don't necessarily need weights. Squats and lunges, you can do just body weight, and push-ups, you can do just body weight. For rows, it's helpful if you do have some type of device for resistance. So you can use a resistance band. Some of you may have these. You can step inside of that band and you can adjust the level of resistance for the row. The row, you're just bending, nice soft bend in the knees, nice tall torso, and then you can adjust the resistance on the band by how far down you're reaching it, and you're doing that row exercise with a band. So you can also do the same exercise if you've got a band with handles on it. Step on that band, use the handles to pull up. You can use kettlebells. So 1 or 2, you can use 1 kettlebell, or dumbbells, lifting up, same concept. Or if you've got 2 kettlebells, you can lift up, same concept, or dumbbells. And then finally, if you don't have any of those things, most of us have these. This is about 7 pounds in weight. You can also, if it's empty, you can fill it with other things. I don't know if sand would be any heavier, but you can just use the 7 pounds. Have 2 of these babies, fill it with water if it doesn't have detergent, and you're doing the same thing. So both of these laundry detergents are in your arms, focusing on that row exercise. So that's the only exercise that it's helpful to have some resistance or weight. If you don't, you can also just do an air row, which is, if you go slow enough and you provide resistance, is equally as challenging, believe it or not. So you want to follow the FIT principle on this. So frequency, it's going to depend on where you're at right now. If you're new to strength training, you want to try and get this in regularly so you have some consistency, so you're not starting over each week, getting fatigued or sore, and then having, some adaptation and recovery, but then you come back the next week and you don't have the consistency, so you're sore all over again. So try and get at least 2 times a week, early in the week, say Monday, Tuesday, later in the week, say Thursday or Saturday, Friday. That's a great way to start. If you're already doing strength training, you can do this a couple times a week. You can add it into your workouts. So if you do 2 or 3 workouts during the week, make Charlie Tree one of yours just to mix it up. Lots of different ways to do it. So for the FIT principle, intensity, we've got frequency, intensity, duration. For the intensity, if you're new to strength training, the goal early on is to teach your body and your mind how to work together to get the proper form. So it isn't necessarily about fatiguing the heck out of your muscles. You've got to learn the form first and develop those neural pathways so that when you're doing those exercises, you're doing them with form. So good form. So if you're just starting out, I would start off focusing on an easy to moderate intensity, so you're not blowing yourself apart. The worst thing you can do when you're starting off is do too much too soon. You're so sore that you can't even sit down. Nobody likes to do that. I don't even like to do that. That's not fun. So one set if you're new to this, and then repeat that 2 to 3 weeks, twice per week, and then you can start to add a second set as you're starting to build that up. So in terms of the intensity, you want it newbies, you want to keep it easy to moderate. If you've been doing strength training, go for it. You want to work towards, you probably already have that form unless it's a new exercise for you. You want to work towards that momentary muscular fatigue. So the point at which you can hold good form on that rep, still holding good form, but you get to the point where you can't quite finish that repetition. So you're still holding good form. That's momentary muscular fatigue. That's what you want to do with this progressive workout. Now that may not happen until you get to the third or fourth set, or I should say round of exercises on Charlie Tree. So let's say you're going from the top to the bottom and you're a seasoned strength trainer. You may not get to that until the bottom or even going through the second set of that. So keep that in mind. Always most important to have good form. You want to build in hard enough intensity. So those of you who are doing strength, you can add weight. You can take it a little bit slower so that you're getting to that momentary muscular fatigue. So lots of different ways that you can do this. Duration is the last point in the FIT concept: frequency, intensity, time, or duration. Again, starting with one set if you're a newbie, going on to 2 or 3 sets, sometimes 4 sets. If you're seasoned, if you've been doing regular strength training. So if you've been doing regular strength training, you can challenge yourself a little bit more because you have a foundation of strength. You also have the neural foundation so that your body knows those exercises. So again, seasoned folks, you can go top to bottom on Charlie Tree. That's set 1. Then you can go bottom to top. Set 2, top to bottom. Set 3, bottom to top. Set 4. So lots of different ways to challenge yourself. Again, you can add weight. When you're ready for that, you can slow down the exercise. Lots of different ways. And you can go top to bottom. You can keep going top to bottom for your sets, or you can reverse it up. Now, I will mention anybody that's new, if you need some rest in between any of these rounds, let's say you're starting with one set of Charlie Tree, so you're going top to the bottom. Let's say you get to the third round of the exercise and you need a little bit of rest, take it. This is not about killing yourself. Remember that. You don't want to destroy yourself because you're not going to want to do this again, right? You're going to think Charlie Tree is not fun at all. When in fact, if it's done properly based on where you are in your fitness, it is fun. It is fun. It's one of my favorites. So if you're a newbie, make sure that you're taking adequate rest and build up. So one way to do it is to do the first round, which is 10 squats and 3 to 5 push-ups. That's the first round on the top of the tree. So you might do that and then take a minute break, and then do the next round, which is 9 lunges and 3 to 5 rows. Take a break. You might take 30 seconds break. Time it. And then as you go through that whole set, top to bottom, that whole one set of the Charlie Tree, you're taking recovery in between each of those rounds, right? So you're catching your breath, you're letting your body rest. Then a progression for you might be to lower the time for that recovery, right? So you might start with a minute of recovery after each round, and then bring that down to 45 seconds recovery, bring that down to 30 seconds recovery, maybe 15 seconds recovery, and then no recovery. So then you're doing back-to-back rounds, squats and push-ups, lunges and rows, squats and push, and you're able to build that foundation up. It's the best way to work this workout and have fun and want to do that again. So that's the Charlie Tree strength training workout. We like to throw this in for the holiday challenge because it is all about Charlie Brown's Christmas, right? I'm going to put this on the tree since that's what Charlie's tree looks like. Only this is a palm tree. That's okay. And then also, this is get a lot of questions about when should I do this workout? When it works best for you. Some people like to do standalone strength. That's fine if you're doing this standalone without any other workout involved, no walking or running or anything like that. It's its own workout. Just make sure you're warming up. You can do warm-ups just by, doing kind of old style aerobics where you're doing leg ups, what we used to call butt kickers for running, but leg ups for aerobics, depending on how far you go back. You can do some knee ups. You can do some low impact jacks or high impact jacks. You can also go through each of these exercises, 2 to 3 repetitions of each exercise. So 2 to 3 air squats, 2 to 3 push-ups, 2 to 3 lunges, and then also 2 to 3 rows. And just kind of prepare your body without weight, without the big challenge for the exercises ahead. So that's basically how you can do that as your own workout, or lots of folks like doing this, and I prefer doing it after my cardio. So if I go for a hike, or if I go for a walk, or if I go for a run or a bike, then I'll come back, my body's warm, and then I'll do a set or 2 of Charlie Tree. So you can do it a lot of different ways. Some people like to do it before their cardio. That works as well. But again, you've got to add that warm up in. So just make sure you're warming up before you do the Charlie Tree. So again, it's 4 exercises. I'm going to show you how to do each of those exercises. We do these exercises, these movement patterns every single day, right? When we get out of a chair, when we go down to grab something. So none of these are real fancy. These are primal movements. And we're just focusing on technique on this. So the first exercise and first round of that Charlie Tree ladder is squats and push-ups. So squats, you always want to have about a shoulder width distance with your feet. And feet, you can have them forward, pointing forward. You can have them slightly angled out, say 45 degrees. You can go even a little bit wider and a little bit more angled out. Find what's best for you. A lot of that has to do with our anatomy and our posture and how our body moves. Sometimes we have hitches in our get along. So for me, I'm right in the middle. I don't feel comfortable with my feet forward. I do not feel comfortable with my feet really splayed. So I'm about 45 degrees. I'm about right in the middle. From there, what you're going to do, I'm going to show you sideways. The first thing that you're going to do for a squat is sit your hips back. Okay, so you're not going to be doing this kind of jazz, right? Number one, it doesn't look cool. And number 2, it's not great for your knees. You never want to have your knees going beyond your toes. So the first thing you're going to do is like sit back on a chair, or like you're going to the bathroom, right? You're going to sit down on that toilet, sit back and down, and then come back up. Reach those arms out for balance, come back up. Come back up, right? So when you're doing this, and you're going down, your hips are back, your arms come forward, you're pushing through your heels, to come up, okay? So as you start to add weights, you can go slowly. One of the hardest things you can do to challenge yourself is to go down slow, pause it, and come up slowly, 4 to 8 counts, or even slower than that. Again, adding weight to that, you can add a kettlebell, just holding that kettlebell or a dumbbell or a suitcase. I mean, tons of things, a big bag of rice, anything for weight. And you're doing that same exercise, only now you've got a little bit more challenge with resistance. All right, so that's a squat. The second exercise in that sequence, in that round, you do squats and you do push-ups. Push-ups can be something different for everybody, right? Does not have to be full body push-up. You can start on your knees, so hips come forward as for a modified push-up. Hands are about shoulder width apart, and you're pushing up, right? Nothing fancy. If this is challenging for you, you can do the worm roll up, all right? So you're kind of rolling your body up and rolling your body down. A lot easier. You can advance to that same concept in a full push-up, right? If you get to the point where you're able to do a modified push-up, now you can progress with your feet and you're doing the same thing. You're warming it up and warming it down. This is not cheating. This is building and progressing upon your current strength. And then the final version is a regular push-up. Okay? The key to this is figuring out a push-up based on where your fitness and strength is. If you're having a hard time doing that last version of the push-up one time, that's not going to be where you're going to want to be on this workout, because you're doing redundant sets of this, right? Back-to-back sets of 3 to 5, 3 to 5, 3 to 5. I'd also start, if you're new to this exercise, with 3 repetitions rather than 5, and build up to 5 as you go. All right, so Make sure you're figuring out where you're at. You can also do push-ups on a bench, on a back of a couch to modify. So you're doing the same thing. Your feet are back, your hands are on the couch or the chair, whatever's stable, or a wall. All of those are perfectly fine, okay? The next round of exercises is a lunge. A lunge, you're basically going to have your feet shoulder width apart, taking a step forward, taking a step back, right? And you're basically bringing your body down so that your front and back knee are at a 90-degree angle, right? So you can even start here, just make sure you're lined up okay. You do not want to have it this way. You don't want to have your knee beyond your toes, really tough on the knee. You want to bring that knee back, pushing and rooting yourself through your heel. Everything's 90-90, pushing yourself up. A great way to start, if you're new to this and you're having trouble with your balance, you can bring your arms out. You can hold on to a chair. You could hold on to a broom or a couple of poles, right, for balance. And you can go halfway down. Halfway down. You don't have to do a full lunge. Work your way into it. As you get more comfortable, then you can start bringing yourself down. So you're going to do that repetition. We've got 9 lunges at the top of Charlie Tree. So you're going to do 9 on one side, 9 on the other. And then the final exercise that you're going to do for Charlie Tree is the row. And again, I showed you this with a band. If you've got a band with handles, right, you're just going to put the band part down on the floor like this band. Handles will be in your hands, and you're going to do that same exercise, right? It's the row. So on the row, all you're doing is you're standing with your feet hip width apart, bending forward, nice tall posture with your torso, rooting yourself through your heels, and with a band or a weight, you're lifting back, focusing on not scrunching up your shoulders, bringing your shoulder blades together and squeezing and back. So this is what it would look like with a band. The movement starts from your shoulder blades. So squeezing those shoulder blades together and release. Together, release. If you're doing that with laundry jugs, same concept. Get that nice, strong position, soft bend with the knees, bringing your torso in, sucking your navel into your spine. Same concept. Everything starts with your shoulder blades. Relaxing the shoulders down. Nothing like this, right? No shoulders up to the ears. Pulling it back. Pulling it back, right? With two dumbbells. Oops. So there you go. So you would do 10 squats, 3 to 5 push-ups, 3 if you're new, 5 if you're advanced. Then you go on to lunges, do 9, 3 to 5 rows. Then you go back to squats and push-ups, back to lunges. And each time, as you make your way from the top of the tree to the bottom, you're doing fewer and fewer repetitions. But remember, you're getting more fatigued each time. So at the bottom, you're thinking, oh, yay, only 1 lunge, right? But 1 lunge at that point on each leg is going to be really challenging because you've just worked yourself. So lots of different ways to do this workout. Make sure that you tailor it to your fitness level so that you don't blow yourself apart. The goal of this is to challenge yourself a little bit, right? You want to challenge yourself, feel like you're fatigued, feel like you got a good workout, but not so much that you blow yourself apart so you're sore for a week, right? Might be sore for a day or two and not sore, like so sore that you can't bend down to pick up your keys, right? But just sore enough that you feel like, oh, I just did something, okay? And as you continue to do this workout and break down those muscle fibers, when you do the strength training workout, your body will get stronger. So it's all about moderation. It's all about figuring out what's best for you, being honest with yourself about where you're at, starting from there, being consistent with the workout, and then adapting and progressing. Enjoy.